All right, can you all hear me?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So it looks like we are streaming. I haven't pressed live yet, so I can see both of you switching back and forth, and even myself. And so what we will do is in just a minute, I will hit go live and I will introduce myself. Are you looking at my belly right now?
Yeah.
I pushed my laptop screen down just for a second. I'll come back up here.
There you go.
What I will do, I'll introduce both of you, and I'm gonna start off with Terry. I'm just gonna say, hey, Terry, just introduce yourself. I'll switch over to Spencer. Spencer, introduce yourself, and then I'll jump into the questions. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Let me do one quick thing. We also got a couple minutes, so.
Do you want us to stay muted until we answer questions? There's any feedback on your end, or is it pretty good?
You know, I'm not hearing any right now. I did have the live stream volume on for a second, so I heard both from my computer or from Zoom and the live stream, but
Sure.
we should be good on that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it should be good. And it looks like it's kind of fluctuating back and forth between good stream and a little bit slower. So I'm not all that concerned with it. I think, you know, once people are on and watching, they, you know, they'll see it and it'll be fine. But yeah.
Good.
The other part is I am recording so that I can kind of take snippets and maybe in the future pull out questions and use, you know, your answer as a part of social media and just kind of, again, gain interest in what we're talking about here. And so, yeah, this
Awesome.
and as well, this can go as long as we want it. It can go as short as we want it. We'll just see how it all plays out. And yeah,
Cool.
sound good?
What is the
Yep.
streaming platform?
So we're on Zoom and then we're gonna stream through LinkedIn.
Oh, sound. Okay.
Yeah, most everybody that follows you that would be needing to hear what you're saying will be on LinkedIn. So what does the rest of the day look like for the two of you?
Probably just some more emails and probably be it.
Yeah.
Been a long week.
I got to get a couple proposals finished up and then good to go. Yeah, then sort through the rest of the jumble of emails that I've received this week.
Yeah.
And I organize things for Monday.
Awesome.
What about you?
I have meetings and meetings and meetings, unfortunately. Yeah, a bunch of stuff that popped up, you know, late yesterday and Wednesday. Just need to knock some things out, and yeah, should be okay.
I'm actually heading up your way tomorrow, Spencer, to Elkhart Lake. Got a
really?
wedding to go to.
Nice. We got the Brewers versus Yankees tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
So my mother-in-law is a big Yankees fan, so we're all going to that.
Living in Chicago and she's a Yankees fan?
She's from Long Island, so
Oh,
All right, we're gonna start this off here. So I'll hit go live. I'll check, the stream from LinkedIn, and then yeah, we'll begin with introductions and then questions. Cool.
sounds good.
Awesome. Check, let's see. All right. It is showing up on the stream for Grand Con, so that is good. Looks like we are good. Can you all hear me still?
yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, welcome to Grand Con AMA. We're excited to share a little bit of insight into the electrical construction industry, and we're sitting here with Terry Jones and Spencer. Spencer, help me with your last name.
Kamke.
Kamke. Okay. I want to make sure it's pronounced correctly. So we're sitting here with Terry and Spencer today. I'm going to ask both of them to introduce themselves, and then we'll jump into a couple questions. So Terry, go ahead and start.
I'm Terry Jones, Grand Con Director of Field Operations.
Fantastic. Spencer?
So I'm Spencer Kamke, Grand Con Project Manager and EV team / special projects. Do you want any background as well? Could start with that.
Yeah, we'll get into it. So go ahead and give your background, Spencer.
Sure. So I came from an engineering background, went to school for architectural electrical engineering, and then found my way to Grand Con in 2018, more of the project management, project engineering side. And right after I graduated from MSOE, I came to Grand Con. And from there, it's been all the construction industry on the contracting side.
Fantastic. Terry, where did you come from?
I've been doing this for about 32 years now. So I was probably about 22 when I started, and came through the apprenticeship, worked in the field, as a apprentice, journeyman, foreman, general foreman, superintendent, now director of field operations.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Dig a little bit deeper. Tell us a little bit about your experience. Terry, we'll start with you. What has been your experience in this industry? How have you grown throughout it, and what can you tell us about your experience?
I've done a lot of different jobs. I've done everything from working in residential housing to working in a nuclear power plant. So, most of my experience is, residential and commercial electrical, a little bit of industrial. But yeah, I've seen a whole array of stuff in the last 30 years. So it's been pretty interesting. So done a lot of healthcare work.
Right.
So that's been a big focus of mine.
Yeah. Yeah. Spencer, tell us a little bit about your experience, a little bit deeper than what you just mentioned, just kind of
Sure.
go into a little bit more.
So starting out as a project engineer, kind of assisting a lot of projects for some of our coworkers. Like we have a senior project manager like Otto Miller, one of our great coworkers that I work with. So just coming in from the project engineering point, helping out and doing some middle type of, just getting kind of dipping my toes into the construction industry and seeing what it's all about. So it's been going from there to getting a feel of what needs to be done and just solving problems on the go. And that's pretty much what it's all been about, is just solving problems as they come up and trying to find the best way to adapt.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Let's jump in a little bit, and we've got the technical side, but we also have, your experiences and things that you have just loved that have happened. So what is a memorable moment from your career? Either one can
I
start.
I was thinking about that one. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff. It's anytime you see a job completed from start to finish, and see the time, the effort that's gone into it, they're all memorable. I did have an opportunity to work out of state for 3 years and do a large hospital project, and that was pretty interesting. It was a pretty neat building.
Was there anything specific about that building that was just like, oh man, this I'm going to remember this for years?
I think there was some new technology going in with lighting control.
Okay.
We had some medium voltage work. The way the building was designed, it was, looked out into the mountains. It was, there was a heliport on top of the hospital. So you got to see, how that all operated. That was pretty interesting, working on that stuff. Just being out of state, working around different people. I've been in Chicago my whole life. So, going to a different area and meeting different people was really cool. So,
yeah. Do you feel like different cultures led to different styles of work, or how did that, come?
Yeah, it was different. It was definitely different because in the Midwest, everything, actually in the Chicagoland area, everything's done in conduit.
Okay.
Working out in Colorado, I mean, they do have some of their work is done in conduit, but they do a lot of MC cable.
Okay.
So it was definitely unique to, we had a few guys that knew how to use one of our benders to bend some of the large conduit, and seeing guys be able to learn new things that hadn't done it before and be able to take that on. Had some teachers, guys that knew how to do it. So more guys got some experience and stuff, and that was pretty neat to see. So
fantastic. Spencer, what's been memorable for you in your career?
I have quite a few memorable moments as well, even though I've only been in the industry for 5 years. One of the first memorable moments was actually when Mike and Terry, Mike the vice president, and then Terry along with us, they took me out to breakfast to kind of get a plan together, to talk about a project and figure out how we're going to adapt and make some changes and make it just putting a plan together as well. So that was kind of when it hit me that that business can take place anywhere, and as long as you have like a couple of minds together, you can definitely achieve what you want to. And so that was the first pretty memorable moment I had. Another one was after a job walk on the roof of 226 West Jackson. That's where the job walk ended. And then just looking around and seeing like all these huge buildings around, and the fog of the city kind of coming in, and still like just being, it's kind of like a surreal moment. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And then of course seeing job like from start to finish as well is just always, it's always great to see that. And that's super memorable each time.
Sorry, I'm curious, seeing a building go from concept to execution and being a part of that, what is that feeling? I mean, you just mentioned it being up on top of the building and kind of looking out, but what kind of feeling do you get when you see these jobs complete, especially in such an iconic place as Chicago?
Each time that you get to be part of something that's like bigger than yourself, it always feels great to be like, I was involved in this. This is crazy. Like that's it. Just kind of, you get some pride as well as just accomplishment of just saying, hey, this thing went up because I had a small piece of this as well. So it's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Terry, kind of going off of that, seeing jobs completed, you said you've been in the industry for 32 years. do you still get that kind of, oh man, we worked on this big building, we just completed this huge job? What kind of feeling do you have at this point in your career after you complete jobs?
I mean, it's still exciting to see them get done. Because when I started, the timeframes of the jobs were a lot shorter or a lot longer, and we're accomplishing, I think there's more going into the buildings today, and we're getting them done even quicker. So it's like when you get that job done, you're like, holy cow, I just did that job that would have taken us 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and now it's getting done in 18 months or 16 months. I mean, it's amazing. And I know one of the things we're going to talk about is technology and stuff, just how that's pushed those things faster. And it's like, wow, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So since we're on technology, let's kind of jump into that. What over the past couple of years, how have you seen technology shift and change, and what new technology has come in to allow you to cut down a job from 2 years to a couple months, right? So what kind of new things are coming out that you both have seen?
Well, I know on my end, when I started, I had a pager, and now we have mini computers on, in our hand all the time. So, I mean, getting the information quicker, through emails.
Yeah.
Like I said, a pager, you had to run down the street if you needed, somebody was trying to call you. Then I had a bag phone, now I have a computer that I can access and have all my information right in front of me. But then, we have daily reports that we do that, used to be done in paper, carbon copy paper. You kept a copy, you send a copy to the office every week, so when you got your paychecks, you sent all your paperwork back with the truck driver.
Yeah.
Now it's just done all electronically. Being able to use 3D CAD.
Okay.
We have Total Station that we just finished using out on a 18-story building that we're working on, that lays out all of our locations of, conduit stub ups, conduit stub downs, floor boxes. All of our equipment can be done on computer versus getting some control lines, using a tape measure and marking everything out. And then we have all of our drawings on PlanGrid, where we can access and be able to walk around a job site with a set of prints on an iPad. So much easier than, let me run back to the trailer, let me run over to my print table and take a look at that. And the ease of being able to flip back and forth. I mean, that's a big change, I think. So, and the tools out there too that we have now, going from having to run a lot of extension cords out for drills, and we have most of our tools are battery powered now, except for our larger equipment. So, I mean, there's just been so many different changes, and we're probably not even touching all of them. So.
Yeah. Do you feel like those have been, obviously there's some positives out of that, but has there been an adoption to new technology, or is there still kind of a pushback on some of, on job sites, or how has it actually been adopted within Grand Kahn to actually, use this technology to your advantage?
Well, when I started here, that's what we started doing. So that was about 8 years ago, almost 9. We started right with iPads, and, we've made some change. There's been some different programs and stuff that has changed, but we started pushing that. The younger guys, they adopted it really quick because they were used to it. There's guys at my age that it took them a little bit getting used to it. I think once they saw it and started understanding how to use that technology, they were like, this is great. I wish I had this. I mean, I can remember that job in Colorado I was talking about earlier. We had so many revisions and changes on this job that I started out with, 2 sets of drawings this big. And by the time I posted all the changes, I had 2 sets of drawings that were this big.
Wow.
And I said to myself, it would be really cool if I had like a large screen TV that I could just push all this stuff onto and be able to, we're doing it now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Spencer, what new technologies that you're on the younger side, so you are able to adopt these things, but what have you seen in your career that
Sure.
excites you or that you can see even going further in the future?
I guess the just construction management software has been awesome. Like PlanGrid, Procore, use of these, as well as the total station, like Terry mentioned. That as like working with CAD, Revit, Navis, and then laying it out that way, and then just being able to shoot the points on the ground rather than having to measure and mark each thing is that is mind blowing. It is definitely going to make it way more efficient. And then as we continue using this, we're just going to keep getting better and find ways to kind of improve our processes as well. So although I haven't been in the industry for that long of a time, I feel like there's been some slight advances each year, just as way mostly like efficiency wise more than technology. Because I really like the iPads. I couldn't I couldn't go to work with a set of prints like
Right.
like Terry, but I still appreciate that aspect of it as well.
For sure. This is a little bit of a curiosity question from me. 3D printing, like new technologies and actually producing and creating new types of materials and things like that. Do you feel like that is entering into the space, or is it still a couple years out, or will it even enter into the space?
There's 3D printing for like certain aspects, and I'm not sure in our scale of construction how easily that would work. I know there's like a different 3D concrete printing houses and buildings and designs like that. However, in our scope, maybe just for certain tools or aspects or items that we need like one-off. That's what I'm seeing currently. I'm not sure how that will progress, but looking forward to the future and seeing what we can make of this.
Yeah. So where do you see, we've talked a little bit about the past, we've talked a little bit how technologies help efficiencies and change kind of the culture and how things are done. What do you see in the future? What is one or two things that you see coming, I don't know, 3 to 5 years or even a little bit farther down the road that one you think would be a positive to the industry, but also that really excites you?
I would think probably more prefabrication of materials and stuff. I mean, we're doing it now, but I know there are some companies that are really innovating, but there's still a lot of companies that aren't doing it. And I can see more and more companies looking at the benefits of it just because of the time constraints of the jobs. It's you can only put so many people in a job, and having that ability to have that stuff ready, come out to site and put it in and cut down your installation times a lot more. I just see that growing even more. So
Spencer?
Yeah, definitely prefab is a big one. Just the efficiency of each process and construction project that's going to be improved along as well as in the future. Additionally, sustainability. I feel like that's going to be a big one going forward on job sites. Whether the use of, I guess, battery operated tools versus others like different gas powered, and just being more sustainable on the job site as well as less waste of materials and reuse.
Good.
Yeah, we've actually in the past and it depends on the size of the project and the room that's on it. We actually use solar panels to help power the temporary power on the job site. It didn't run the whole job site, but it significantly cut the cost of it. So
Definitely.
yeah, it was pretty interesting.
That's fascinating. What is one thing that you're glad, other than the stacks of paper, what's one thing that you're glad has shifted from years past and is no longer being done?
Terry, this might be better for you. Question for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to think there. I mean, I think the ability to get information is probably one of the biggest things. being able to send an email, get a response, being able to look in the internet to find information. I mean, there's so much information out there on the internet.
Yeah.
There's always a question on how do we do this? What's, and you can always Google or even YouTube stuff and get ideas. But I think that's a big thing right there.
Fantastic.
That internet accessibility.
Yeah. Yeah. That, I mean, what I hear from both of you is that communication, one, it really matters, and two, the speed in which you can actually communicate now allows you to complete jobs more efficiently, more satisfactory to not only Grant Kahn, but also to your clients. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Fantastic. What are some things, we talked a little bit about technology and kind of, what it's changed and a little bit into the future. What can you do? What should you be doing now to prepare for some new changes?
I would say just be adaptable to change and be open to learning new things. That's the only limiting factor is how fast we can process change and how fast we can adapt. So that's the industry is changing and becoming more efficient, and we're using new technology. So as long as you're trying to learn something new every day and try to figure it out a little bit more, that's the best way we can.
Terry, any insight onto that?
No, I think he nailed it there. Adaptability. You have to adapt or you're going to get left behind.
Sure. Absolutely. One question, then I want to jump into a specific direction. So what are some challenges that you see in the industry currently?
Well, right now getting materials is a challenge just because of the whole, everything that's gone on the last 2 years. So, I mean, what we used to be able to get the next day from the supply house, they might not have it now, and that's getting that mindset back into the guys. Hey, you can't expect that that's going to be in stock anymore. What you have to look farther ahead.
Okay.
And, I know electrical panels and electrical, switch gear, everything that powers, that stuff it's gotten better, but it's still longer lead times than we're used to seeing. So.
Sure. How has, last 2 years and material shortages, how has that changed specific other than lead times? Has job production changed at all, or is it really just planning and scheduling for
more planning
longer?
Yeah, more planning. I mean, we do a lot of planning as it is.
Sure.
But like I said, I mean, when we'll do like look aheads, for the next week or next 2 weeks. It just can't be 2 weeks now. You have to look even farther out. I mean, a common item is we had a problem getting cover plates for outlets and switches.
Okay.
Who would it, you're not even thinking about that at the beginning of the job.
Yeah.
Or even just an outlet. I mean, we have a job right now, we need 10 gray outlets. You used to be able to call a supply house and they were right there. No, they're not there anymore. So it's like those things that you're looking, depending on the size of the job, you might be looking for in a year from now. Well, you better not do that.
So you're looking at every detail way earlier than usually, just to plan and prepare for those shortages.
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. So let's shift into the topic of EV charging. This is a huge thing that's going on in the industry now. And Spencer, I'm glad you're here so you can kind of let us in on a little bit of insights and where the industry is in this. But just give me a little bit of, what's your day-to-day with EV charging and how you interact with what's going on in that space.
Sure. So my day-to-day with EV charging, we put out a lot of different proposals to customers that are interested in this process. And they're interested, hey, we want to get EV chargers set up and ready to go. The only thing we've been waiting on is these incentives from the state. So that's
Sure.
been the number one limiting factor. However, as when we go to install and have a go ahead for all these different projects, it's definitely kind of changing the way that people look at them too, because they design infrastructure for the future and what the like amount of cars and people be utilizing this in the future as well. So you can't just say, hey, let's put in 4 chargers. We have to think a little bit bigger and look ahead to see what is the industry going to be like.
Okay.
Which I know in some states it's going to be pushed a lot faster than others, but definitely we all need to be ready for the upcoming change of the amount of EVs within this just the industry as well.
Yeah. So it looks like, let's see, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin are kind of banding together to create this network of charging stations. How does that play into, your vision for where Grand Con can go, and how do you support that?
We have different certifications for Illinois as well, starting out, and then we're trying to get certified everywhere we can to improve the area and our footprint on where we can install these chargers. And that definitely will help not only driving business, but also show that our workers are qualified and they know exactly what they're doing when they're installing these as well. So
Sure.
gives everyone a little bit more comfort, and we can give you a little bit more expert opinion on that as well.
Yeah. Let's back up a tiny bit. And what type of, for my purposes and others that
Sure.
have been jumped into EV charging, what type of stations are you talking about? I heard you mention 4 stations. Are you talking about one-offs? Are you talking about at gas stations? Or what kind of
Sure.
environment
So
are we talking
the
about?
largest necessity right now is for level 2 chargers. That'd be a 30 to 60 mile per hour charging, depending on the amperage they have available.
Okay.
And level 1 would be just like trickle charger. Level 2 is that 30 to 60 range, and then level 3 is the DC fast charging. That's like the superchargers, all the
Right.
the large big scale infrastructure things that you'd see kind of in place of a gas station.
Sure.
But yeah, a lot of different public locations are looking for these level 2 chargers, because that kind of meets the sweet spot where it's not as much infrastructure, but it's still enough to allow people to have another amenity in that space,
Yeah.
as well as just bring additional clients to their business.
Yeah. And what type of companies do you see investing in this? From my perspective, I can see, malls and gas stations and other places like that. But what type of companies do you actually find are needing this the most?
Yep, exactly what you said. Malls, gas stations, movie theaters. We've seen a lot of condo associations as well.
Okay.
Different owners and businesses, they like to put those out front of their business to increase the amount of people that are able to come there. Hotels, a lot of hospitality markets as well,
Sure.
just to increase that. And then finally, municipalities are also looking to put those in front of their areas in their parking lots to just increase overall amenities that they're able to provide.
Yeah. Spencer, what excites you about the EV space?
Could you repeat the question? I apologize.
What excites you about being in the EV space?
Oh my gosh. So you can hear from Terry, I'm very big into electric vehicles and the charging and just the progression of what is to come. So being an EV owner as well, I like pushing that a little bit, and just they're so fun, they're efficient, and they're the only limiting factor right now is the current power grid. So that needs to be increased, but it's just very exciting to see how that industry is kind of pushing forward and more opportunity for growth.
Yeah. What type of challenges have you seen come up in talking with specific business owners, or just looking at the industry as a whole?
The specific challenges, a lot of people are very willing to get this going and start this process. However, some people are still hesitant because they think it might be a fad, or it might just come and go. And then the last bit of blockage we run into is just people are waiting on different government incentives are like, okay, we'll wait till the money comes and then we'll go ahead and do this, which I understand that makes a lot of
Sure.
sense. You don't want to go ahead with before this is all confirmed. So
Yeah.
it's just very exciting space for us right now as this is pushing forward.
Awesome.
I think like Spencer had said earlier, like the power grids, I don't think a lot of people realize how much power that it actually requires. So their current power that they might have in their building, their business, whatever it might be tapping them, where they have to increase their service sizes.
Sure.
And I think that's a shock to them. It's like, oh, we're ready to go. And then they see, hey, we need to do this. And then all of a sudden they're like, ooh, hold on, let's refigure this. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's yeah.
And what type of solutions can you provide when you do face that? Is it as easy as just drawing up a plan, or is it a bigger conversation saying, hey, this is what you need to do, think about this?
So yeah, drawing up a plan and a way to attack that is definitely the way to go. There's a lot of our partners, like I'll just name one as well, Loop, has financing options available, so that way you can kind of plan around the entire infrastructure and the EV charger itself, a way to kind of finance that and get paid back, where you're not having to spend all that money at once for that infrastructure update, where you kind of just piece at a time, and as the industry's progressing and then more demand is required, that you're kind of seeing that regain and recoup.
Excellent. I want to ask divert away from EV a little bit and kind of jump back into a little bit more general about the industry. What type of advice, one from somebody who's Spencer, from somebody who's fairly new in the industry, and then Terry having years in the industry, what type of advice do you have for people who are looking to get into the industry, and then people who have been in the industry and want to continue in the industry?
I'll start. I mean, the one thing about electrical that I've always enjoyed is there's so many different things you can be doing in it. I mean, you could be doing high voltage distribution. You could be doing residential. You could be working at a grocery store. You could be installing lights for traffic signals. Working in a nuclear power plant. Putting lights out at a NASCAR track. There's so many different things that you can do in this industry. And I think that's one of the most exciting things that I've done, is all those different things. It's never the same, so I mean, if you get tired in one aspect of the field, you can move on to something else,
Sure.
So there's just a lot you can do in this industry. I mean, there's, working on conveyor lines with programmable controllers. There's just so much that, somebody can do. So that's what's always been interesting, is there's always something different out there.
Fantastic. Spencer?
My advice would be to adapt and be open to change. Just start by trying to learn something new every day, and you'll grow from there. And another thing is, you don't have to know exactly what you're doing 100% of the time. I found that nobody knows 100% on what they're doing, as long as you're willing to find out and search and learn and find out new opportunities to solve problems. That's what would make you a good project manager and good to be in the construction industry, is just finding new ways to solve problems and being continuous and just pushing that as well, making sure that you're building your relationships, you're having that advancement, and you're learning something new every day.
Fantastic. And then before we wrap up here, what do you love about working for Grand Kahn?
I go first, Spencer?
Yeah, sure. I really like the community. We have great people that I work with, Terry, Mike, Otto, Dave, like the entire crew is amazing. And like all the foremen are fantastic as well. I love working with the people. Building relationships is amazing. And then just being able to do something that's not the same every day. Like it's every project is a little bit different. It poses new challenges, and something that Terry was saying earlier is it's not going to be the same. So it's it keeps it interesting and fun.
Terry?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a great group of guys. I mean, from the office to the field, you know, we're a larger company. We're not massive, but being able to everybody kind of feel like their family,
Sure.
you know, and I think that's a fun thing. So, and we're always listening to what people have to say, you know, different ideas. Let's try it. Maybe that's not so good of an idea, you know, but talking about it, you
Sure.
know, people's opinions matter. So, and I think that's important. You just can't look down the road with blinders on and expect that this is always going to work, because it doesn't. You know, you have to listen to other people. So, and that's one thing nice. So,
Absolutely. Any last comments before we wrap up here?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
We covered.
Yeah, we did cover a lot. So for those of you watching and those of you that'll see the clips come out, thank you for joining us and learning a little bit about what Grand Con has to offer. If you're interested in partnering with Grand Con, visit grandcon.com, dig around and see how we can all help you. One other link to kind of mention is grandcon.com/EV-charger. Check it out and look at how Grand Con can serve your EV charging needs. And yeah, we look forward to working with everybody and partnering with you. So gentlemen, I appreciate your time today and look forward to doing something like this again.
Sounds
Thanks, Ian.
good.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Yep. You still there, Terry?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. All right, that went well. I think that was fantastic.
How many people do we have on?
You know what? I'll look at the numbers here in a little bit, and I'll reshare it today. So maybe we'll get a couple more people jumping in. But
Okay.
I got to look at the analytics.
Okay.
Yeah. I appreciate your time. I think this was great. I think also all of your answers were fantastic, and
Thank you.
we can, you know, I just realized I pushed my camera down, didn't I? Sorry.
You know, I'm looking because I'm on my iPad and I have it, and I'm like trying to look at the person talking, but I see my head like cocked to the side.
So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll take short clips of this and use it in our social media and start sharing that out there and everything. So, but yeah,
Okay.
this was great, and maybe we can do this again early next year sometime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe pick some different people.
Absolutely.
How often are people doing these types of things?
You know what, in your space, I don't know how many people are actually digging in like this and offering things where it's real people talking. And, you know, every once in a while, maybe a higher up will get on like a podcast or, you know, something that is industry specific, but like, I don't see many people actually sharing information and talking like this. And so I think two things. When I first started working with you all, I asked AJ, like, what makes Grand Con great? And he's like, all the people that we have. And so this, I think, lends itself towards, yeah, actually showing real people and real talk, and not being super scripted or anything like that. It's just two people talking and sharing their experiences. So I think this is it's great content for you all.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I only have like 2 emails to send, and then you can check out for the rest of the day.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye.